Hey everybody, welcome back to HemingwayLand.com, your source for quality, affordable land in the state of New Mexico. We're going to talk about this property today. This is BRNM 3965. This is 5 acres in Bernalillo County, priced at $32,500. We've had this property on the website now for a couple months. I have been remiss in not making a video earlier. Remiss is my way of saying lazy. But I'm making this video today. There's a little story behind it, so I hope you'll indulge me as I just tell you this. So every day after I wake up and before I go to sleep and about 20 times in between, I will check the analytics on our website and I will see who's visiting the website, what listing pages are getting hit the most, where the traffic's coming from, etc. And generally in my observation, if I see Pascagoula, Mississippi, let's say, hitting a certain listing page every day, day after day for about 2 weeks, generally Pascagoula, Mississippi buys that property. Now, in my experience, people who buy from us never call, they never write, they never ask a question. They either do the research on their own or they don't do any research. I don't know. But generally, I don't know Pascagoula, Mississippi exists until I see the receipt in our inbox that says somebody just spent $1,000 or $3,000 or $5,000 on a property. And then I'll look and I'll say, oh, look, it's, whoever from Pascagoula. But there's a second type of person who never calls and asks a question or sends us an email. And these are people who come to the website every day, look at the same listing week after week after week, sometimes month after month, and you never hear from them. And I'm always kind of wondering what the holdup is, why they don't become a buyer. And I fault myself, I fault us for maybe not listing enough information here on the listing page, or maybe not answering whatever concerns they have in the write-up here, etc. So I want to take the time to make this video to anybody who's new to this listing, hasn't seen it before, but more specifically, this one's for you. Springfield, Missouri. So here we go. As with all of our properties, if you scroll down here to the GPS coordinates, click on these, it's going to bring it up on a map. Let's just give you a basic sense of geographically where this is. This property sits in Cedar Crest. I don't know if it's technically correct to call Cedar Crest a suburb of Albuquerque or just a separate little town just right outside of Albuquerque, but as you can see, it is roughly 15, 16, 17 miles into the heart of Albuquerque as the crow flies. Simultaneously, this property puts you in close proximity to this road over here, the 14. So you're going to be able to easily access San Antonio, Sandia Park, and very easily get up into the northern areas such as Madrid and Santa Fe. So you've got a lot of great scenery up here. This road's going to provide you a lot of great weekend trips up into these regions to be able to explore this area. Okay, let's talk about this green thing over here. What is this? So specific property sits off Gutierrez Canyon Road, and this green area right here is the Gutierrez Canyon Open Space Preserve. This is about 720 acres of hiking and trails and areas for horseback riding and mountain biking, etc. Now, when I first looked at this, my question was, how do you get to this property? Because I know as this is an open space preserve, you're not going to be able to cut a road from Gutierrez Canyon out to here. And so the north and the western boundaries of the property are basically landlocked, or you can't get a road out from there. Now, some people might think that's a drawback, a negative. I think that's a great thing, because I think then what you have with this property is whatever you build out here, whatever home sites you put here, whatever views you have of these mountains, of this area, that view is going to be maintained from now until the end of time. Nobody's going to come and put a Walmart over here in your backyard. There's not going to be a gas station. Nobody can build a house over here. So whatever views you have of this, however you can experience this, amazing space right here, that's going to be yours to keep. Now, all that being said, how do you get to the property? So when we were buying this, I made a contingent in our sale purchase agreement that the purchase was contingent on legal access. Now, what is legal access? Obviously, anybody can get from Hobart Road to this property. You can walk, you can ride your horse, you can drive a car over the property, but this is somebody else's land, right? So you may be able to access it, but it's not what we call legal access. Legal access is there's some sort of deeded easement or something that allows you to get from point A to point B without, breaking any laws, or certainly without, ruffling the feathers of your neighbors. So we commissioned I'm not going to call it a survey, but we had a survey company just sort of dig into this and do some research. Alpha Pro Surveying came back with this, which is, and I was shocked by this, but whoever subdivided this couple hundred acres out there had done it the right way, which is to say when they made these 5 and 10 acre plots of land, they did it in such a way where everybody had legal access and nobody's property was landlocked. So as you'll see here, the subject property in turquoise has a 25-foot road and utility easement here on the western boundary, and it has a 50-foot road and utility easement along the eastern boundary. Now, let's go back to the map for a second. So Over here, 25 feet, you could build a road right here out to the property, or 50 feet over here. Now, if you look at this on satellite view, what you'll see is, and I'd encourage you to just kind of keep your eye right here at the property boundary, what you'll see is there are these arroyos that, I don't know, kind of stretch along the right-hand side of the property, the eastern boundary of the property. If you come to our photo gallery, you'll get a better sense of what these look like. Let's just scroll down here. Click on, where's it at? Let's click on some of these. Okay, so you can see these are kind of deep trenches that are dug out in the land. Now, I am not, as you can imagine, I have no background in landscaping. My guess is anybody who works in the Southwest has encountered these sorts of things before and knows how to deal with them. My guess is they're not as daunting as you might think. That being said, they look a little daunting, so let's talk about this. All right. So let's say you want to build a driveway out here. I'm going to say the western boundary is the easiest way to do that. And if you look at just where this person has their, I think this is a shed. There's a shed and there's a power line here. If you look at just where that ends, keep your eye right there. You're going to see that that is where the road would go in. Now, that means that you're not going to have to disturb this person's shed or this person's power line or this person's property at all. In fact, my guess is, because this isn't really anybody's land, you can kind of cheat this a little bit and build this road out a little bit further if you like, further to the west if you like, and be able to access your land. If you really want to fight this thing, though, if you really want to try to build out here, I suppose it's an option. You know, here's the thing I would tell you. From what I'm seeing of this 5-acre property, and mind you, 5 acres is a large chunk of land. It looks like these arroyos take up about the eastern third of the property. We are reasonable people here at Hemingway Land. If somebody wants to call me and say, you know, hey, I'm going to have, I don't know, X $1,000 in grading that I'm going to have to do on this property if I buy it, can you knock the price down a couple thousand? I'm very willing to have that conversation. Doesn't necessarily mean I can do it, but I'm very willing to have that conversation and try to accommodate someone. You know, if we only sell this for $30,000 or $29,000, that's not a huge drawback for me. So just an FYI, if you want to call and have that discussion, we can have that discussion. But the point is that there is legal access for this property. There's utilities along Hobart Road right here. Obviously, there's utilities at these nearby home sites. So getting power out to the property will not be difficult. And getting this road out here, particularly if you're working along this western boundary, will not be difficult. If this thing looks like it's going to be difficult, let's have a conversation about that. Now, furthermore, we'll talk about zoning. Just very quickly here, if you click on this PDF up here, you'll see this is zoned A2 Rural Agricultural. Of course, you can get a good sense of what that entails if you read through this document. This is an excerpt from the county zoning ordinance. This will give you some sense of it. Of course, we always recommend that if you have specific questions about what you can build or do out there, call Bernalillo County Planning and Zoning, reach out to them personally, and ask them those questions. Now, of course, I think it's logical if you just look at this. You could say, all right, well, a 5-bedroom, 4-bath home, probably nobody's going to have a problem with that. If you want to go and live out of a school bus, probably somebody's going to have a problem with that. So, you know, this one's kind of logical. This one kind of is self-explanatory. But we always encourage people to call the county and ask those questions directly to them. You know, I've had conversations with counties where you call them on a Monday, you ask them a question, person A says yes, then you call back on Tuesday and person B says no. So if you're going to get contradictory information about this, or if you're going to get the wrong information, I'd rather you get it directly from the county than from our offices. By the way, we also have some helpful links down here that will, if you click on these, you can learn more about this Gutierrez Canyon area. And by the way, this is the selling point of this property that I'm not talking about all that much, which is precisely how beautiful this region is out there. Anyway, you've got that link, and then you've got the Gutierrez Canyon trail maps, so you can learn more about exactly what would be in your backyard if you chose to purchase this property. So, by the by, as with all of our properties, you can come up here, you can click the Buy Now button, you can put down an earnest money deposit of $1,000. That's something that shows us that you're serious, that you're, intend to buy this. So if we delist it, if we don't sell it to anybody else, we feel confident that you will eventually end up purchasing this. What I will tell you, however, is that when we list properties of this price range for extended periods of time, we'll usually list them with a realtor. So we actually have a realtor who's associated with this property. He works for Coldwell Banker. He will probably end up quarterbacking this entire deal from start to finish if you do want to buy this. So reach out to us. We could give you his number, and he could send you the ridiculous 69-page New Mexico Realtors Agreement. It's truly absurd, but anyway. By the way, we closed on this property with steward title of Albuquerque. As with any property in this price range, we encourage you to close through a title company. So obviously if we close through Stewart, this will be easy to do. They've got all the paperwork done. My guess is from start to finish, it's probably about a 2-week process. All right, with all this said, if anybody has any further questions, if there's anything I didn't talk about here, please feel free to reach out to us, 702-919-7170, or shoot us an email at support@hemingwayland.com. I hope this was informative, guys, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.